Well, behind the scenes, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to shoot a little behind the scenes because something just happened that happens on occasion when you're doing what I'm doing, what a few of us are doing, and that is, I'll tell you about it, a little story perhaps. So I'm working on the companionway steps. The idea is to put a box in. I don't know how much you can see. You can see enough. The first step will be a box that will house the motor starter battery and will house the inverter. And it may be that for a while you've been wondering when he's going to fit that darn inverter. I've certainly spoken about it many times over a long period. And I was thinking of putting it in this electric bay box there, but truth of the matter is, the reason why I haven't fitted it is that I wasn't really happy with the way, the room in there. So I find, if you're not happy with the design element, if I'm not happy with the design element, it pays just to wait a bit and see what happens. And things tend to come clear with time. And anyhow, Karen and I were in here yesterday talking about the companionway area, and decided to build, as I say, fixing steps, which obviously need to leave us access to the motor room and be safe and whatever, with the bottom step as a box, and that box gives us clearly capacity to put some things in it. And another thing I wasn't happy with was I was at one point intending to put the motor battery in that box in the engine room, and I didn't like that either. And here it fits beautifully, really nice there. And it also dawned on me I'd have room against that bulkhead there, that longitudinal one, to get the inverter on. And again, it fits beautifully there, so that'll be much better. Anyhow, as I said at the start, what inspired me to shoot this little clip is that this is the truth of YouTubing a project like this. I prepared this bit of Doug fir here. It's going to go alongside the sort of sister onto one of the floors there to give me a fixing for the upright flat box. And I was just about to prepare to fit it, set myself all up, ready to go. What happens? Battery goes flat on the camera. It happens. It's not the first time that has happened. So you have to get up, unscrew the camera from the tripod, change the batteries, and you know, this is what it's like, guys, behind the scenes. And while we're here shooting behind the scenes, I respond to one of your questions from last time. There was a question about the masts, wasn't there? Because the last time I spoke about the sails. And I suppose obviously that led to thoughts about the masts. And how am I going to build the masts? Something Karen asks me pretty regularly. And I'm fairly confident. Okay, you know, the mast building is still a few months away, but as things stand now, what I anticipate doing is the method used by Dan Johnson, who built Hester, which is a 34-foot Benford dory. And he did a very, very simple method. Basically, it's a solid wood, glued up wood mast, solid Douglas fir is what he used, what I should be using as well, I think. You've got different options for mast materials, haven't you? There are people using aluminium. There was a post on the Junk Rig Association a while back about a Turkish company that's making tapered aluminium masts. Very nice, I'm sure. Aluminium's a possibility. You can use wood. I even followed up. There were some steel masts for sale that I followed up, but turned out they'd be far too heavy. I wasn't happy. So various options. And then when it comes to wood, you can build hollow or solid. You can use a grown mast, which is basically a tree, you know, find a nice straight tree and cut it down, season it, which is what Miss Molly had. All good. They're all good. A hollow wooden mast has the advantage that it's a bit lighter in terms of weight aloft than a solid wood mast. Another option is a composite mast, where you use perhaps an aluminium tube and you put a wood topmast into it. Those are all possibilities. The mast design for these boats, according to Mr. Benford, are that they taper from the partners. There's a straight section of some 50 centimetres or so at the partners, and they taper from the partners down to the mast step, and they taper up to the mast top. So you've got this double taper, double cone sort of effect. So building a hollow mast, and Benford actually stipulates a hollow mast and very nicely draws you little pictures of staves of wood. I'm not sure if he's actually tried building one or not. For me, that sounds all a bit tricky. I can imagine that in my head, what it's like trying to bend staves of wood to that double taper and have a straight section in the middle and glue it all up and get them all. It sounds like a nightmare to me. I'm not going to do that. There was a method in one of the Junk Rig Association magazines of doing hollow masts with staves using a set of preformed circles that you spaced out in a nice straight line and put your staves around them, which is a possibility. But I come back to Dan Johnson. Dan Johnson built his mast for Hester out of blocks of long lengths of Douglas fir. They were about 6 centimetres square, or so 6 by 7s or something like that, centimetres. Glued them up. He cut the corners off of the middle 4 so that he had a hole up the middle of the mast. So it wasn't completely solid, it did have a hole up the middle. And glued them up with epoxy and just planed and sanded them to shape, and that's what I anticipate doing. That's what I expect to be doing, 2 masts like that. So, masts, Doug fir, I think, mainly solid with a small hole up the middle. I will actually make that hole up the middle as big as I can, given the dimensions of the mast, and the top end of the mast is 10 centimetres diameter or so, something like that, isn't it? It's fairly spindly at the top. So clearly the hole in the middle can't be very big at that end, but maybe it's possible to vary the size of that hole according to the taper of the mast. These things have still got to be thought out a bit. Masts, there you go guys. Thanks for all your support. See you soon.